Another story we're following tonight, a teenager found guilty of a gruesome double murder in Davis. But the jury's work is not done in the case of Daniel Marsh. Now jurors face an even tougher job. They'll have to decide whether Marsh should be sent to prison for the rest of his life or a mental health hospital.
And KCRA 3's David Bieniek was in court today for today's verdict. He joins us now with family members' reaction. David.
Yeah, Galston, the outcome of this first phase of the trial was not much of a surprise to family members of the victims. And even Marsh himself seemed to be bracing himself when the verdicts came down.
Daniel Marsh sat with his hands folded in front of his face and seemed to fight back his emotions as the clerk read the verdicts. Guilty of first-degree murder for the deaths of Oliver Northup and his wife Claudia Maupin, who were stabbed to death with a buck knife last year while lying in their bed at their condo in Davis.
I believe that justice was served today.
They were unanimous. That felt really good.
Jurors rejected the defense argument that Marsh was suffering from the side effects of antidepressant medication. In fact, jurors agreed to 4 special circumstances, including that Marsh was lying in wait for his victims and that he tortured them.
I don't like to think about my father and Claudia being tortured.
Right.
And there was a unanimous conviction that he did torture them, and it's very hard to contemplate.
In a videotaped confession after his arrest, Marsh told investigators that after killing Northup and Maupin, he got such a high off of it that he wandered the streets of Davis looking for more victims. Starting next week, prosecutors and defense attorneys will debate whether Marsh was mentally sane at the time of the killings. Then the jury will have to decide whether he deserves punishment or professional help.
I think that he is ill, but I think that he knew exactly what he was doing. And I don't believe that there's a treatment for that illness at this time. So I think that prison would feel really good for me and my family.
Daniel Marsh was 15 at the time of these killings. He's 17 now. He is being tried as an adult, but because of his age under California law, he cannot face the death penalty.
We were talking about the sanity phase coming into play, so how is each side going to play that?
Yeah, I was talking with the legal experts, and kind of the roles get reversed here. The defense will now try to bring out as many details as it can about the crimes when they happen to try to prove that Daniel Marsh was not of right mind.
And basically whether he knew right and wrong. That's the bottom legal line.
Exactly.
Yeah, David, thank you.